Yes, please.
Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
And Happy New Year. We met this evening to look at an important topic as we journey in this avocado agenda. So I'll be sharing on managing an avocado orchard and focusing on the six key areas we must pay attention to. Very well then, that's the outline of my presentation. Starting with the nugget of life I would like to share. We've been looking at avocado plantation flow management, pest management, the A to Z of avocado farming. And I'll end on some advice from the President of the African Development Bank. We basically have two objectives this evening that we would like to fulfill. Number one is to outline the A to Z of avocado farming. And then number two, to show the 6 key areas we need to focus on to manage our plantation well. There's some very good instruction from the scriptures about those who work their land, that they will have abundant food. For those who chase fantasies have no sense. Certainly, this is an area our nation must pay special attention, that we need to grow the food we eat and also eat the food we grow and control what we grow. Only then are we going to have the independence we are talking about in every respect. So here are the 7 key areas we need to pay particular attention to as we run and manage our avocado plantation. Start from canopy management, how you manage your canopy. We need to have a canopy in a pyramidal shape to enable sunlight to reach the bottom of the shrub or the tree. The water requirements, that is the daily water requirements, the annual water requirements. Then also following through a fertilization program so that we don't miss anything. And I'm learning by and large that when you miss this aspect of fertilization and water, you will experience very high fruit drop because the plant will not have reserved enough food in its structure to support those fruits that are coming up. So as fruits are coming, you will see a lot of fruit drop. The issue of disease and pest management, the issue of the flow management, particularly now with the rain, the grass coming and growing, they attract pests and many things that injure our plants. Since the rain started, we've had to cut the grass 3 times so far. We are again working on going again in the cycle to cut. The issue of pollination and understanding the type of the avocado. Is it a type A or type B? And the need to enhance bee population in the area. And of course, the place of the windbreak in avocado tree management, very critical. In Zambia, there are ecological conditions that are very suitable for cultivation. The altitude, the distribution of the rainfall, the temperature ranges, and our soils. Except the northern part of our country where you experience high acidity. But you can find a solution using lime. The question of frost, and the need to have optimal temperatures during the period of fruit set. And it should be above 18 degrees, which we meet here. Then we have the conditions for a country that are really ripe. We have secured some export market into Italy. We are working on other countries in the Middle East and also some other countries in Europe. And working with that, the registration of necessary, ZF and ZDA, there's some financing available for those entering the export market, and there are procedures for us to access. So we've had meetings with them before. And in the recent past, the government has put avocados as one of the tree crops in its recently formulated comprehensive agricultural transformation support program. So this is a major milestone for us that now avocado is on the agenda of the Republic of Zambia. It's also one of the key things in the 8th Development National Plan, agroforest and tree crops development. So the timing is right for us to push this agenda. And this is a copy I got from the Comprehensive Agriculture Transformation Support Program. And here is a list of areas that the government is focusing on for export, for import substitution. And the blue arrow there is showing avocado as one of them for increasing export and job creation. Recently, late last year, the Zambia National Service began planting avocado, and we participate. And this is a great development. There is a picture myself with the Minister of Agriculture pouring water on a tree after planting it at the airport farm in Lusaka. Very well, then. This is a concise framework that outlines the A to Z of avocado farming, from soil analysis to fulfilling the demand of the customer. So we'll have gone through all the processes and harvested and added value, or selling the fruit as is, to the pricing. These are the key things that an avocado farmer needs to pay particular attention. This is the A to Z. This is the formula. We need to pay particular attention. It gives everything, but in here is also what we are talking about today, just managing the plantation. We are not looking at managing the outsiders and managing customers and export markets. But this gives a comprehensive outline
Recording in progress
of all the areas in avocado farming. And what notable amongst them are soil amendments, land preparation, irrigation. Water is key. Of course, understanding plant behavior through the different seasons, fertilization, and of course, pollination. Very well, and here are also the units, the full avocado production cycle, from pre-production to production, post-harvest, and handling and marketing. It's a subset of what I've just talked about. And it's presented in a circular fashion from time we are preparing to go into production. Looking at government policy, relevant institution, environmental conditions, which are the conditions I talked about. Our practices, diseases, up to the point under 26 when we close the deal and export and meet the demand of the customer. Tree spacing, very key. In recent past, high density planting is increasingly becoming popular. but we need to appreciate and understand the need to know the maximum height that is allowed for trees in a row to which it must go. So that doesn't create shade, and that we'll talk about. In our case, we are using the 5 by 5 meters, very high density planting, so the need to prune becomes key. The soil pH, the optimal range between 5 and 7. And we now have small gadgets that we can use in our farm to check this because it affects the absorption of the nutrients. If it's too acidic, you will not have that. And lime application will help. That's a small gadget, pH meter. You can use both in the seedling propagation and in the plantation, the farm itself. Soil textural analysis, critical. What percentage of your soil is a clay or is a silt and sand? The range between 20 to 40% is critical for clay, and shouldn't be too much clay because holding of water is not good for the root system of the avocados. The need for that balance, the balance between sand, silt, and the organic content becomes very, very important. Hence the need for us to have this checked by experts. With respect to the organic content, range between 2.5 to 5% will help to have a good structure of the soil, to have sufficient porosity, provide for adequate air and water within your soil structure. And of course, Mount Makuru and UNZA institutions we work with in soil test analysis. What then is the key importance aspect of the soil texture? It affects the drainage. Clay holds water. Avocado doesn't want to have too much water. It must have free drain water. The water holding capacity and aeration. And of course, the place of the organic matter because they help retain moisture, but they also are converted into a fertilizer as they degrade. The cation exchange helps in the absorption of nutrients from the soil. We already talked about the pH and what it does. So understanding this becomes paramount. Very well. The first point now on the 7 key areas to focus on is the science of canopy management. How do you manage your canopy? The idea is to expose as much of your tree to direct sunlight. So the pyramidal shape becomes key. And to do that, one needs to select the leader shoot in the middle and develop it. And then the branches evolve. And people who've done research into this suggested that any branch thicker than 50% of the leader shoot must be removed. And the tree canopy height, the height of the leader one, must not be more than 70% of the raw width. The raw width is the distance between 2 trees. Say if you have 5 meters apart, 70% of that will be 3.5. So the height of your leader shoot must be 3.5 because if it goes higher, then the issue of shade and also affecting the other plants. And then sunlight will not be able to penetrate from top to bottom. So the base of the tree will not be able to receive enough sunshine to allow for fruiting and also getting the right kind of fruit that you are farming. And they suggested that from year 3, regular and timely pruning is key in order to shape your tree. And let it stay in a pyramidal form with a narrow top and a wider base. pyramidal shape of the avocado tree allows for optimal penetration of light. It also ensures that branches from top to bottom can stay healthy and vigorous due to optimal sunlight penetration. This is key. So this is what impacts the quality of the fruit that you have and the size. And upright growing branches in the outer edges of the tree needs to be removed because they'll be competing with the middle one. So this is part of what is expected of us as we develop and manage these plantations. And must be understood that the branches that were produced in the last 2 years, 1 year to 2 years, are the ones that will give fruit in that year, like this year. For example, 2024, those that were produced last year and the other year will be the ones that will give in fruit. So, and you need to look after them. And when pruning, with your tools, ensure that you disinfect them as you move from one tree to the next, so as to prevent the transfer of any possible diseases. So you may use methylated spirit or jig or any disinfectant that you may have. And once you cut some trees, you need to paint them so that you minimize water loss, but also prevention of ingesting of disease and pests that may come. Move on to the second, plant fertilization. Must be understood that the correct fertilization of avocado tree is a critical aspect of orchard management if we are to achieve high yields and fruit quality. High drop of fruit, that high fruit drop is experienced when the correct fertilization program was not followed during the year. So you, from day one, and looking at an annual calendar of avocado management, follow through the fertilization program, follow through the watering program, and pest management. Then you will have prepared the plant to fruit, to set, and for the fruit to grow. And when using foliar fertilizers, ensure that you apply your foliar fertilizer to the leaves during the cool periods, early morning and the evening. This has to do with the stomata opening and closing time that we did many years ago in biology. Must be noted that nitrogen is the most important nutrient for growth, flowering, and full set of avocado. So the plant needs to receive enough of this for it to give the fruit that you are looking for. For young trees, fertilizer application should be made during the active growing period of August to April. After April, we have cold season here. The trees are kind of in a mode where they hibernate and nothing is growing. And that's a period you can use to prune them, to prepare them. However, it must be understood again that too much nitrogen fertilizers given to young trees in the early stages can cause the burning of the roots. So it has to be balanced, not too much and not too little, just enough to enable the plants to grow. And this is just a method for preparation of compost. And we are encouraging that once every quarter, add 1 kg of mature compost to the plant to enrich it, to add more organic matter in the soil. Very, very key. So there we are preparing some foliar fertilizer for the plants sometime mid last year. And They are applied early in the morning and evening, like I said. Pest and disease management, the third one, we need to pay particular attention to, because the most efficient economic method of pest management is what will determine whether you will have the quality fruit at the end of the day. So you need to protect and prevent your plantation from attack. And those are some of the major pests that attack these avocados. And the fruit fly is a nuisance, needs to be caged. The force coding moth also need to be prevented so that the fruits are mature well, they are not embraced, so they meet those requirements for export. These caterpillars must not find any room in our orchards. Look out for them, be attentive and watch, open your eyes. Post-calling moth, very bad, it's able to damage your fruits. Root rot from the fungal disease also needs to be checked. And this also is impacted by irrigation. If you have too much of it, you exacerbate this one and to increase. They need to just give the right balance of water to the tree. Those are the other fungal diseases that we need to pay attention to. And here I've listed some chemicals that you can use to deal with the fungal rhizobium, and the amount you can use 50 grams into 20 liters of water. This you can use both for soil conditioning and also to the plants. Copper oxchloride. And recently we also experimented the use of vinegar, and it's worked well. We experimented in an orchard, the use of vinegar as an alternative to some of these chemicals, and we've had quite some good results that you apply. Fruit fly management, precision farming a solution for us with the traps that you can buy and hang them in the tree, and they will be attracted there, trapped. And this is what you get when you allow your fruit flies to be in your orchard. They really hinge and puncture your fruit that has been going for some time. You can see the white exit, and this won't go anywhere because it will rot from inside out. Also, the scale attack there, we're able to see this. You need to protect your food because that one will not go anywhere, you will not sell it. Water requirements. Correct water management is an important prerequisite for improving production in avocado cultivation. We must note that the first 70 days after fruit set is the most crucial period to watch if one is to minimize fruit drop. If you don't give enough water, the tree will go in stress, water stress. And if you are also not giving it enough nutrients in the year, you will see that you will have maybe many flowers and they will just drop. You will have wasted a year. So they need to watch month on month from January to December, so you understand the plant behavior at each stage, month on month. It comes to. And there is a proposal from the Institute of Tropical and Subtropical out of South Africa. They propose that 8,000 to 9,000 cubic meters of water are needed every year per hectare for irrigating, which translates to an average of between daily water requirements of 15 to 45 cubic meters per hectare. And translating this into liters gives you 112.5 liters of water per tree. That is using a maximum daily water use with 400 plants in a hectare. In our case, we are currently giving 30 liters of water every other day in the dry season, because these are young plants coming. So every other day, 30 liters of water is given. And you may ask, how are you knowing that this is 30 liters of water given to each plant? And I'll explain that. We did an experiment in arriving at that. We went to a drip and attached a 20-liter container and opened the pump and ran it. And we were able to get 30 liters of water in that bucket, for example, in 40 minutes. So we only would irrigate, during the dry season, irrigate the plantation using the polypipes drip just for 40 minutes, and each tree will have 30 liters of water, exactly what it needs every other day. So we had to employ a practical aspect in the field, put a measured known volume of the bucket and pump and see how much water comes there. You know it's 30 liters, for example, or 20 liters, and you get the time. So you know now that at each drop, at each drip, at each plant station, in 40 minutes, you will get 30 liters of water. So very key. So this experiment is important to do so that the right amount of water is given to each plant. So these are the factors that water in a given avocado orchard impacts. When you have optimal water regime in an avocado orchard, these will be impacted. Flowering, fruit set, fruit drop. If you don't have enough water as the plant requires, that is a daily water requirement, you will invariably be facing the issue of fruit drop and the sizes as well, and fruit quality. So water is key in dealing with these very, very important elements in commercial cultivation of avocados. These are available technologies: microjet irrigation, micro sprayer. We are using the drip with a diameter of 20 millimeter and applying 30 liters of water once every other day, like I mentioned. We, in 2022, began with the perforated containers. You can also use 20-liter buckets with a perforated or at the bottom. So this was how the situation was in 2022 at Mora Farms in Kitwe. We bought 5-liter container and placed on each tree. We didn't have the irrigation. And we filled this container and perforated it and allow it to drip bit by bit. Basically, we're doing this to run through the dry season before we could set up the irrigation system. And since then, this is what has happened after putting the irrigation system. Water really makes a difference. We employ the 20 millimeter polypipes and drip lines placed at 5 meters apart. And this is what's happening today. We've noticed a notable difference when the tree receives enough water. This is some irrigation pipes at Lamasata farm. We saw pipes for the avocado farm. Lamasata has offered pipes for our members who can go there and buy some discounts for paid-up members of Saka Avocado Cooperative. So seedling planting. Advantage of the drip irrigation system. It removes wastage of water, maximizes the use of the water resources. Of course, labor costs are minimized. And the water doesn't go everywhere splashing on the stem of the plant. It goes to where it's needed. And those are some of the places where you can buy this technology. Lamcs, Auto Tank, and Viritech. So you maximize the use of the water you have, because water goes where it's needed. Move on now to the mechanics of pollination. And the need for us to understand the role of type A plant and type B plant, like Hass is A and Feta is B, and how they interplay. They support us web. He has found a way, the local varieties. Well, Linda, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Chair, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The flowering of avocado trees. The main flowering season in Zambia for us in the production zone from March to April, around there. And the harvest is also from March to August. However, you have some changes sometimes. Occasionally you get flowering occurring around December and January. For local avocado varieties, this varies between the northern part of Zambia and southern part of Zambia. And more research is needed in this area so we understand the flowering pattern that we are able to follow through to ensure that we get maximum out of them. During the flowering period, we apply the necessary amount of manure and water and protect the plant from stress. Beehives are key to attract pollinators during that period. And the need to have a grower's calendar, annual calendar, that gives a cycle of what you do January up to December, month on month, the monitoring of flowering period, bud development, fruit set, the management of this phytosanitary activities within your farm so that you don't bring disease, fertilization plan, integrated pest management, pruning, windbreak, fire break, and periodic soil analysis. The pH must not just be done once, no. Once per year you do it. Shouldn't just do it at the time you are doing your soil test and so on. You need to buy that equipment so that we test. Because as you apply fertilizer, particularly if you are using the conventional one, they impact on the pH of the soil. So they need to come and test so you see that it's within the optimal range. Is key. And this is the behavior of the avocado year on. From May to April the following year, you have flower bud development there, flowering and fruit set, and vegetative flush when they really grow. And during this period, when it's very hot, between mid-August to late October, you see a lot of fruit drop because of too much sunshine there, too much sunlight. And that's where you need to ensure that the plants have enough water to minimize this. Again, towards January and February there. So this behavior needs to be tracked and followed through and develop your own based on what you are seeing on the farm. Some pictures for training for people grafting. I'm looking forward to the grafting training from Mr. Engineer Kanoa, and also testing of the pH there. So nursery there, Mora Gardens. And one tree that we planted directly in the ground and grafted performed very well at 22 months with fruit. Very well, we'll move to the next aspect we need to focus on, the effect of wind on avocado trees. It must be understood that avocado crops are susceptible to strong winds, both hot and cold, and that inhibit pollination and fruit formation. May cause severe damage with branches. Some of them may break, flowers, and fruit fall. May also cause abrasion on the fruit. So they need to have a protection with the windbreak is paramount. Therefore, farms intended or plots intended for avocado production should have good natural protection against the winds or windbreak barriers and plant windbreakers around them, so that you may break the force of wind coming to the plantation. Because if you allow too much wind into your plantation, particularly during flowering, you will have a lot of flowers dropping, and that will impact the number of fruits you get per tree. So create a windbreak. And there are some suggested trees you can use there, pine trees. Mulberry is very good because it grows very fast. Some macadamia trees can also be used, so you're able to get some fruit from there as well. So the negative impact of strong wind on the growth and production of avocados. Number one, during wind conditions, the tree is unable to maintain the high transpiration rates. This situation results in stomata closure. Thus, the normal physiological process within the tree ceases to operate at optimum conditions. May lead to breakage of the tree for young trees. I've talked about the dropping of the fruits. And causing scarring on the fruit, which impacts the fruit quality in the end. So wind is something we need to look at, something we need to monitor and follow through. And in terms of these windbreaks, what you must get, type of tree you must get, and the key qualities that you must follow through. Those trees you get as windbreak must have minimal competition with the orchard crop for water and nutrients and sunlight. And they must grow upright and must grow fast with minimal maintenance. And if you're able to get those ones with flowers so they attract bees, well and good. And one of the shrubs to grow near a plantation are hibiscus, because they produce wonderful flowers that attract bees, because you need a high bee population to help in the pollination of the avocados. And those trees you bring as the windbreak must not act as a host plant for pests and diseases. So you need to check and do some research about those trees so that all this is minimized. And on the windbreak, ensure that you remove branches that cause severe shedding of avocado trees. And you must prune the roots halfway between the windbreak and the first orchard tree so that the root system doesn't come towards your avocados. And every 2 years, trim them. Because if you have your avocados trees very close to the windbreak, flowering could be reduced due to lack of enough sunlight. Sunlight is key. Let your avocado tree have maximum sunlight. That's why we plant them in the north-south direction so that the trees are facing the eastern direction where the sun is coming in. So it hits the plantation with a lot of sunlight. Very well, move to the next key thing we should focus on, avocado flow management. This has to do with removal of grass and weeds. Weeds are a problem for plantation because they compete for nutrients, water, space, and light. And they help reduce the yields of your crops and the quality. So they need to be removed, and we encourage mechanical removal of these. So there is the plantation flow management at our farms in Ganaton, which with mulching there. And we have raised mounds, as you can see, and with the drip line, the 20-millimeter poly pipes I talked about. So remove all the grass so that they don't remain a host for pests. And this, you leave the grass as low as this also to minimize soil erosion. But you also encourage with this kind of thing, the biodiversity in your plantation. This picture I've shown here was done not long ago. I went to check yesterday. This is how the grass is looking. So we are having to cut in this rain season, just under 2 weeks. The grass grows very fast. So we are working on it, and we should finish by Tuesday, Wednesday next week, cutting again. So with respect to weed management, plantation flow management, mulching is key around the plants, like I demonstrated here, because it helps to suppress the growth of weeds around the plant itself. And you may use different organic material, but what we've used replace pine bark, and in recent past, tithonia leaves, because it's known to have a lot of nutrients that enriches the plant and it biodegrades very fast. We've also used elephant grass. So you cut this and you put them there. In some cases, we've had to shred it so that we increase the surface area for it to degrade quicker. The other way in managing this is to plant also a plant cover around the plantation that minimizes weeds in your plantation. Why weeds are a nuisance in an avocado orchard? They compete for soil, moisture, they compete for nutrients and light. They also attract pests. So we must ensure that weeds are removed and removed very quickly. We are not encouraging use of these chemicals because it impacts the biodiversity and regenerative agriculture, which we must encourage. Therein is a picture from 2021 when we launched our strategic plan. Just want to remind the members where we've come from. The Minister of Agriculture there and our partner, His Royal Highness Chief Munkanta, in France with them. Also, I want to share that our president is keen on avocado exports. In fact, ZDA has invited us to participate next month as Lusaka Avocado in a visit to Qatar for the promotion of avocado for ourselves as a cooperative. As you know, the UAE has already tested avocados out of Zambia. And they are looking for us. We have people looking for avocados in Qatar. So part of this trip is to go and crystallize and discuss further with those people desiring the food from our country. So 8 key factors to look at in commercialization of avocados in Zambia as we come to a close. So from what I've shared so far, there is need for us to invest in understanding the A to Z of avocado farming, that framework I showed, and also zero in on the 7 critical areas I've shown now. The A to Z show the entire picture, but when you come to just the avocados plantation, those 7 key areas I've shared becomes key. And we need to invest long hours to understand and appreciate and grow. The need to embrace mechanization in this whole issue. As we increase the hectarage, cutting grass becomes a challenge. So they need to invest in technology that will enable us to do that quicker. The global gap guidelines, I shared the global gap guidelines that we localized this afternoon. We encourage members to read and study, even as the board discusses with consultants who work with us who are experts in the certification of our farms. But do the homework, like I said, read, understand, follow through. And of course, they need to understand market structure so that we are ready to meet their requirements. As I close, I leave you with this picture that you've come to see from time to time, what the African Development Bank president is saying. So the future millionaires and billionaires of Africa will not be coming from oil and gas, they'll be coming from agriculture. He wants African countries to be looking at agriculture as a business, not as a way of life. Nobody smokes gas, nobody drinks oil, but everybody eats food. So food is critical, and that is what Africa has a comparative advantage. And Zambia is key with all our water resources and huge land mass. We need to really change the narrative. And avocado is one of such tree crops that holds a lot of promise for our country, even in reducing the deficit in oil. We import cooking oil, but from avocado, we can process this and several other products and help reduce the importation. As you know, importing too many things impact on your strength of the currency. And we know what has been happening in that space. Well, Linda, this is where I end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chair. We've got a couple of questions in the chat for you, sir. The first one is, please, can you kindly advise on the vinegar strength or formula to dilute with water and how to apply the vinegar?
Okay. I'll get from my notes. I'll get from my notes and share on the group how we mix them, the vinegar, and then you
Thank you.
can spray. You basically use a nap sprayer or a motorized sprayer, and then you spray on the tree and also on the trunk.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. And then Mr. Roy Makono Kaonga has asked, what was the 5-liter refill interval in your experience? Thank you, sir.
Or when we use that technology for 2022,
Yes, Chair.
basically it was to keep the plant alive in that year. And we filled it, I think it was 2-3 times a week. Each 5-liter was filled with water, and then it had a small hole, which is like a mimicking drip. So it's basically to sustain the plant. We applied. You may use a bigger one, a 20-liter container, and fill it. That will even last longer, a little bit longer, and give you at least better desirable results. But anyway, we managed to save the plants in 2022, and it helped. So we consider it as an appropriate technology. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate that. If there's anybody who has any questions, but you would like to come on microphone, please take off your microphone, and then I'll call your name to ask a question. So if anybody who's on mute at the moment, or if you prefer, you can raise your hand and I'll be able to see it. We don't
Yeah, the
have any.
refill interval for the 5-liter containers 3 times per week, 2-3 times a week.
Oh, that's pretty good, sir. Yes, go ahead. I can hear somebody has unmuted themselves. Ronald Chanda, please go ahead. Okay, they've muted themselves back again. Okay, so I mean, you mentioned about reading, so I was just going to. Is anybody trying to speak? Please go ahead. Hello, you've muted yourself. If you're speaking, you need to unmute yourself. Okay, maybe they're not asking a question, sir. I was just going to notify our members. We do have an avocado library. It's in Trello. After we've shared Engineer CHIWALA's notes on the group, I will add a link to that as well. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's free of charge. You are able to join and you are able to access it. When you do access it, I don't know if you're able to see my screen. I will do, there we go. So this is what it looks like. I don't know if anybody, Chair, are you able to say whether you can see my screen, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So when you join, you're able to just go into any of these books that sometimes put by topic. And if they're in topic, if you see that says irrigation, that means there are 11 ebooks in here. On pest management, we've got 3 big ebooks in there. And then here we've got a backlog just by books without having to put them by subject. So these are just general books. So if say you wanted, this is an area where we've put the latest of information. So if you go into one of the areas, you will notice that there's a link to an attachment, which is a PDF. So then you'll be able to click onto that and to actually access. Someone has come off microphone. Would you like to ask a question? No? Okay.
Well,
So,
Linda, I need
yes.
some training now to use this. You know, we don't have these things where.
If you just type in your phone this word Trello, and
Yes,
you can use your existing Outlook account to
yes,
log into it, and then it appears on your phone. I can't show it on my phone at the moment since I'm sharing your presentation, but we've
yes.
got very big books in here. There are quite a lot of
Wow.
people can go into. If you can see, this one has got three books and an image. This one is on avocado production. And when you go into it, it actually lets you download a big ebook, so which is quite massive.
Wow.
So
Wow.
anybody
This video has no idea on this because IT is a program.
yes, sir. So it's quite handy. It's quite useful to be able to get into it. Now I can't see my screen because I'm sharing. There we go.
Powerful.
Thank you, sir. So, and those of you who are interested in recipes, we have included the nutrition section that talks about the nutrition of the avocado and all the various
Wow.
recipes that you can find using an avocado. So engineer will soon be adding all those recipes you share on the group into this, into the library.
I'm going to visit that right corner.
Okay. Has anybody got a question either to the engineer regarding his presentation? I will go back, I will stop sharing and go back to the chat. Yes, it says great lesson, chair. This is from Vodoria. And also thank you from Mr. Roy Kawanga. Lawrence Musonda is asking, any other variety that can be planted beside Hass or Pinkerton? So he's asking what other varieties he could plant.
The type B, the Fuete, to help with the pollination is encouraged. Wait for Mutimushi has been able to kind of unpack other local varieties that may be type B that we can use that will help the pollination of the heart.
Sorry, Chair.
Yeah. So we will learn from him. He's been at it so that we are able to get the right mix of the plants. So
Thank you.
Fuete is good, but there are some local varieties as well.
Thank you. And then Ms. Ken Kondo has said, thank you very much. It indeed was CHIWALA. And then Vadoria has left, but otherwise we've got no questions on the group. Thank you so much, sir. And we've managed to stick to the 1 hour target. So unless, if anybody has got any other questions for the engineer, please feel free to add it to the WhatsApp group. You've seen he looks at the chat. And then Mike Mavika has just asked, for those who are not IT savvy, is there a way you can print some of the books at a fee for members? Oh, I see. No problem. I'll put some notes together and send them into the WhatsApp group, Mr. Mavika. Thank you, sir. And then Mr. Mpongwe Ndebele Shawa has said, thank you for this enlightening training topic, Chair. Very useful. And thank you from Chris C as well. So there are no further messages, sir. If I'm going to hand it back to you to close the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Linda. I appreciate what you are doing for us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Engineer, good night. Thank you, sir.
Bye.